Hi Taurus, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol. And Taurus, in today's reading, we're going to be doing mid-October 2024 reading, and it's going to be a check-in. So we're going to start off by looking at a pattern that you're dealing with right now that's showing up in your life for healing. And in order to figure out, what's driving that pattern or what's kind of behind it, what's impacting it, I'm going to be doing some shadow work. So in part 2, we're going to be looking at your shadow, what's coming up for your unconscious for healing. And if you're unfamiliar with the term shadow work or shadow, I will leave you a really good video that I've done called My Powerful 4-Step Guide to Shadow Work. And it's a video taken from my other channel called Carol Cares. And it's really a video about how to face your own shadow. And so you can have a look at that. It's in my description box below, or in the, I think I've said that already, but I can't remember. Sometimes I repeat things and I don't know what I said. Anyway, so you can take a look at that if you're interested. But yeah, we'll be looking at your shadow in part 2 and figure out, what's coming up, what's driving this pattern. And then finally, we're going to ask the tarot for some advice as to how you can begin to heal this, because this is a journey. And it's not your healing journey is not something that, it's going to be happen like this. It's a process that we need to go through. So I'm so glad you're here. So let's start. We're going to start off with the Curious Travels Tarot deck. And I'm going to ask for some clarification from the Tarot of the Abyss. And yeah, so I'll take those 2 decks. And they've been pre-shuffled before I came on. And I do want to let you know that I'm offering personal readings right now. So if you're interested in that, there will be a link for that in my description box and in my comments. And that'll take you to my website, carolcares.com. And there's a page on there. It'll take you right to that page of Yellow Cardinal Tarot, where I offer, I think, about 6 or 7 readings on there. And yeah, so you can do that if you're interested. Take a look at that. So let's start off your reading by asking for 1 card for what pattern in Taurus's life is coming up here in the latter part of October that they need to deal with. That's for healing. And so you have the 5 of Pentacles in reverse to start off with. Another card for what aspect from the shadow is driving that. And you have the 4 of Cups. Whoa. And finally, advice from the tarot as to how they can begin to heal this. That one wanted to come out. The Hanged Man in reverse. The Hanged Man in reverse. Okay, so let's get some clarification on this 5 of Pentacles. Can you tell me a bit more about this 5 of Pentacles? 2 to 3 cards. For the 5 of Pentacles for clarification. A couple more cards. Oh, there's one. There we go. I was just going to say this deck isn't talking to me, but it finally came out. The 5 of Swords in reverse. So you have 2 5s here. Some change, conflict going on this the end of October. Knight of Swords in reverse. And the 5 of Pentacles again in reverse, which is interesting. So your bookends here of what you're dealing with is the 5 of Pentacles. Very much, which tells me that it's going to tell me really where you're sitting right now. It's a clear indication of where you're sitting. So 4 of Cups. Can you give me some clarification on the 4 of Cups for Taurus? It's in their shadow that needs healing. What do we need to look at here? Clarification. 2 more cards. Okay, so you had this one, and then this one, and then this one. All right, so you have the 4 of Wands in reverse. You have the 2 of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles And the Queen of Pentacles, which is quite interesting here. Okay, so the Hangman in reverse. 2 to 3 cards for that. Now my thumb's getting sore. Oh, okay, you can do this. There we go. I got them all at once. The Hanged one, which is the Hangman. Oh, and interesting, like it was in reverse and now it's upright right beside it. So double again, like you got double 5 of Pentacles and the double Hangman. Here's some clear messages for you. Lover's card, which is another major arcana card, major archetype force here. And the Fool in reverse, another major arcana card. So 3 in a row, 4 in a row actually. So some really strong, clear energies for you for some advice from the tarot that are coming up here. All right, let's begin. So, Taurus, what are you sitting with? Well, here's this 5 of Pentacles, this set of bookends in reverse. So, let's make this clear what this card means in an upright position here. So, the 5 of Pentacles is very much a card of, well, first of all, the Pentacle has everything to do with your body. It has everything to do with being grounded into your body. It has everything to do with your self-worth, your material world. And so here you have a child, which is quite interesting. We are talking here about, you know, what you need to heal. But right here, you see this child here who has broken his or her pentacle here. And what's very interesting, if you think of a child and how when they break a toy or they break something, they can really get so upset about it and just feel like absolute, like, shame that has come over them, as if I've done this. Sometimes they might feel like they're deserving of it, depending on what message is given to them from, adults around them, but they just feel like I've just broken my own toy and it feels absolutely horrible. And so this is what you're sitting with, is like a horrible feeling of shame and of unworthiness, because that's what the pentacle is. And in this particular deck, the Tarot of the Abyss, they got these individuals that are walking by this church and feel very unworthy, and there's this individual in the background inviting them in, but they're just not even considering that possibility. Like, there's no way, I can't go in there, like, no way, right? And so here you are sitting with this unbearable, I'm going to say, because it's come up twice here, but there's this, because it's in reverse, there's this real not wanting to look at it, not wanting to deal with it, and it's like it's completely taken over, right? And so maybe you may be sitting with a lot of hopelessness, because when we are sitting with in a lot of depression or hopelessness, often behind that is our shame is sitting here. So believe it or not, our hopelessness, our depression is a defense that we go to block this shame, because shame is a shitty feeling and everybody has it, but we don't want to deal with it. So oftentimes we have this hopelessness that's blocking it from coming through. So maybe that's you that's sitting there right now, because I see here that you have the 5 of Swords in reverse right behind this 5 of Pentacles. So you have 3 5s in the deck. 5 is all about this, about conflict. And so you're very much in a conflicted position right now, coming into this reading. But you have to remember that 5 is also about change. And so, I'm here to say that, you're sitting in this shit right now, but sometimes we have to sit there. There's something behind here that we have to get to. And that's what we don't realize. We often get really stuck in these emotions and in this state that we're in and see no way out. But there is some change here once you recognize that, okay, I'm sitting in this depression. I'm sitting in this hopelessness, but there's some real shame that I gotta get to. The Five of Swords comes right behind it, and in an upright position, you have this boy that's looking at this butterfly, and he has a pin in his hand. It's kind of a little bit of a gruesome card here, where he's quite aware. Like in his head, he's like, I could pick you at any minute, and you know, you would die, right? That's talking to the butterfly here. And so the Five of Swords is a card that comes when we feel this. Could be two things. I call it my bullying card. So it could be like this sort of like this superior attitude that we have, in this case, this child, if we're the bully, or it could be the poor butterfly who's feeling very inferior to this bully. But in either case, it speaks heavily again about shame. I mean, bullies bully people because they're full of shame, and we're not born with shame. We inherit it. People give it to us, because they feel they have this shame and people don't know how to get rid of it, so they just give it to other people. And again, it's in reverse here. And so there's a real, I can see here, there's a real blocking here. And like I said, it could be your depression, your hopelessness is coming up. It's acting as a block because there's so much shame that's sitting here. But you have this card right here that I haven't talked about. It's the Knight of Swords in reverse. And the knights in my deck are what I call my freedom fighters. And they're the part of us, we all have this part, that wants freedom to be themselves and wants freedom to find their truth and take their life in the direction they want to. In this particular case, it's of the sword. It's the sword of truth. It's what our truth is, right? Because we can believe all this shit and this stuff and these things that people told us about ourselves to make us feel unworthy. And that's where you're sitting right now. You're believing all this stuff. But here's this part of you, it's in reverse. Here's this part of you that's wanting to come through, wanting the freedom to push through with this sword and saying, it's time for you, Taurus, to look at what is your truth. Is this your truth? What all this shame that you're sitting with right now, what you're feeling, is this your truth? And when this knight comes in reverse, it's telling me that there are a couple ways that it could be going here, which could explain. It could feel incredibly hopeless because this is the part of you that's been fighting all your life for your truth to come out, for who you really are, not for what people told you. And they've been fighting. It's the part of you that's really fighting for you to be free, right? These knights want to be free. And, or you can be freaking angry at these people that told you this. I'm not sure where you're sitting. You could be, if you're somebody that, tends to spew out your anger on other people, it's because you have this anger that's sitting here, this ungrounded anger that needs to come out for you. But I'm feeling that you might be sitting a bit in some depression here for sure. A lot of depression that's coming. So I definitely will leave you with a playlist on, I'm going to just write that down before I forget, on depression, because I'm seeing here you need some help with that. And so where is that coming from? You have all this shame up here. Where is it coming from? What's coming up from your shadow that you need to heal, that's driving all of this shame and this hopelessness that you're feeling right now? Well, there was a part of you. So this is your childhood. This is your adolescence. And it tells me that, here's this individual that's sitting quite comfortably on their chair. And I always say that, they're needing to just turn their head here, and they might fall off their chair, or so they don't want to turn their head because they're going to fall off their chair. And they're quite determined and quite shut down. As far as these cups are concerned right here. And there's one right here on offer for them, and it's like, no, I'm not looking at that one that's on offer here. So this tells me here that at a point in time when you were younger, you shut down. You really shut down. And a lot of times when, this Knight of Swords here that came out earlier, I didn't say that it was, it's an adolescent part of us. It's a part that, we want you to think of yourself when what an adolescent is like, and they're told that no, you can't do certain things because you're not allowed to, or you have this unworthiness going on. So there's, maybe it's like, you can't do that because you're this or you're that, or you wouldn't, it wouldn't be good for you, or you're not worthy enough to do what it is that you wanted to do. And so you shut down your emotions. And I think a part of you wanted to go in a certain direction, for sure, with this Four of Wands in reverse that's sitting in your shadow, because the Four of Wands in an upright position speaks about it's often called like a celebration card, but this is somebody that has really broken free from sort of a controlling kind of environment behind them, where they wanted to kind of break out on their own. And that's what the Four of Wands is, in an upright position, where people, have finally have this plan, have something that they know it's something they want to do and go in that direction. But this is in reverse for you here. So I'm seeing that, I think you really shut down because there was something somewhere that you knew, something you were supposed to do here. And I mean, it's the four. So it's not like the three is kind of in the planning stage. The two is when you kind of get a nudge. But you're in the four, where you've broken free from that. And it's kind of like, no, we're going to pull you back here, and we're going to keep you back. So I think there's some real emotions here surrounding that, feeling that hopelessness, if you want, which is coming up for you right now, that you're sitting in. This hopelessness of not being able to go in that direction. And the Two of Pentacles comes in here, and the Two of Pentacles is, an individual that's allowed to sort of, it's often called like a decision card to make, but you see this as a real busyness card, somebody that's very ungrounded. You can almost see like the dizziness back here. And so I think that you became quite ungrounded and kind of like confused, sometimes even dissociative, where you kind of go right back up in your head. And because, when you shut down your emotions when you're a child, that means you've shut down everything, your body, because that's where your emotions are. And so you tend to go back up in your head. But in your head, you take on, as a child, you take on these, well, I'm not allowed to do this. I'm told I'm not allowed to go in that direction. It's where I really want to go. And so you get angry, you feel hopeless, and you're kind of losing a bit of direction here. You become ungrounded. And then what helps us out when we're younger, it's kind of like this King of Pentacles that comes out, and you have the King and the Queen that end, which is really interesting in your shadow, because the King in my deck represents our masculine side, which is our ego self, which is the one that's, drives all of us. Pretty much all of us are living in our ego, in our head, in our ego self. It's the one that drives us. And it's the King of Pentacles here. And it's the masculine part of us that kind of says, when it's talking about your self-worth, and talking about anything to do with your material world, because that's your pentacles, or your work world, where it really gives you this driving force to go ahead. But it's all up in your head, and it'll protect you. It'll protect you from those feelings of unworthiness, by kind of like shutting it down and pushing all of it down, because the ego self is a part that's very scared, and it's very much a part of us that comes up when we're younger to protect us, because it's really a part that worries about our safety, to keep us safe. And so it would not want you to stay in your body. That's the last place that this King of Pentacles would want you to stay, is in your body, because this unworthiness that you would have felt when you were younger, this hopelessness that you would have felt, it would have shoved it right back down, and it would have you would have stayed in your head. But then right behind it was your Queen of Pentacles. Look at this beautiful gift that she's opening up right here. This pentacle, this gift of this pentacle, right? She's our feminine side, and she's the part that would have been repressed. And because, she represents our body, This is the gift right here that you have sitting right behind, right at the end of your shadow here, right at the end. It's the gift of your body. The gift of your self-worth is sitting right here. And we get that when we get back in our body and we start to feel. And I think this is what you need desperately to do. It is, you know, there's a real call here to, and I'm probably going to see it right here, but to get back into your body and to start to accept this, to find out who you really are, because this is where your unworthiness is coming. And so how are you going to start to heal this? And you have the Hangman here, and he's in reverse. And what does this mean in an upright position? In an upright position, you have, well, you have the two Hangmen. You have one in an upright position, and then you have this other one that's reversed. So let's look at this card right here. The Hangman is a card of starting to see something in a different perspective. Right now, you're not looking at anything in a different perspective. And when you start to see things in a different perspective, when you start to get a different perspective on things, you're very much comfortable in your own skin, and you're starting to trust yourself. And this is where you're sitting right now, where you're not trusting yourself. You're quite stuck in one perspective, but the universe wants to bring you here, wants to bring you, turn this around, and wants you to start feeling comfortable in your own body again. Because right now you're very much in your head with this unworthiness, with this, maybe this depression that you have that you're battling. And the universe really wants you to bring you back out of your head and into your body, because there's a different perspective here for you. You have the Lover's card here. And this is where I'm talking about you're probably wondering, well, where's she getting this going back into your body from? Well, here's this Lover's card coming in here. And I love that. It says ending with the Fool as well. But here's the Lover's card here. And what is the Lovers? Well, first of all, it's a number 6. It's a major arcana card. So it's an archetypal force, an energy, universal force here. And 6s represent like this duality card. And so you have these, normally it's portrayed by, in the Rider Waite deck, it's portrayed by a feminine and a masculine figure. And so it's like the two sides of us, the masculine and the feminine. And fascinating that in your shadow, you had the masculine and the feminine side right here. You had the two sides of you. And so if you take this card right here, this is what this is, this Lover's card. It's the masculine side of you, it's the ego side, and then it's the feminine side of you, the one that has all, you know, your creativity, your intuition, your emotions. It's your body. It's your body. And so if you look at this right here, it's like, here's these two parts of you. One being your conscious side, your ego, what you see, what you're aware of. And this other side is your unconscious, your shadow, what you're not aware of, your feminine side. It's your feminine side, getting back to the feminine. And the Lover's card comes together when these two parts are whole again. And the tarot wants to bring you back to your wholeness. It wants to bring you back to that feminine side. It wants to introduce that feminine side to you. And you end with the Fool. And the feminine side, again, like I said, is getting back into your body. And you end with the Fool. And the Fool card's in reverse here. But the Fool card in an upright position says, this card in my deck, it doesn't come out often. But when it comes out, it's like a card that means there's a crucial, like there's a big change here. This is a crucial moment in your life right now for a change to happen. There is a leap that's needed, a leap of faith that's needed on your part, Taurus, to start to believe that you have this other side to you, right? Because you're pretty stuck up in your head right now. You're pretty stuck up in your head that you have this unworthiness. Maybe you've been battling it for, it's coming up and it goes away and it comes up and goes away. That's the pattern, right? That you battle all the time. But it's like you need to realize that you're stuck and there is a way out of this. And you're very much up in your head here. But we want to introduce you to, you have to take the leap of faith that there is a feminine side to you, but you have got to get back into your body and you've got to start feeling that feeling of unworthiness that you felt when you were younger here. And it's in reverse here because I think there's a big fear on your part to believing or going back into your body. And here's where the fear comes from. It's your ego self. It's the ego self that's a very scared part that does not want you to go back into your body. And so what I want to leave you with is a playlist on depression, but I really think as well that I'm going to leave you with a playlist on grounding, of getting back into your body because, you know, this hopelessness, there's a crucial change. There's a big change here that needs to happen for you. And this is a crucial point, like I said, where you've got to take that leap of faith and believe that you can get out of this. But you got to start feeling it and you got to get back into your body. So Taurus, I'm going to tell you to have compassion for yourself for what you're working through. This is a difficult journey, this healing journey that you're on, but it's the most important one. So I'll talk to you in November.